Hey there, folks. Welcome back to CYPTV. Do me a favor, share, like, leave a comment. Also, hit that hype button. It helps these videos out a lot. Buckle up because you are now entering the Cype zone. And without further ado, let's jump right into these videos.
Is this right here supposed to be some kind of joke? So Erica comes out saying that Turning Point is not ending. And then Shapiro comes out and says that he's going to continue carrying that torch, carrying that bloodstained microphone. After I explain this to you in detail and show you, I assure you that you'll be peed off. Watch this right here for just a moment. This is what Shapiro said on Rogan's show.
Prophet and
No. We don't believe he's a prophet.
what do you think he was? What do you guys think?
What do I think he was historically? I think he was a Jew who tried to lead a revolt against the Romans and got killed for his trouble, just like a lot of other Jews at that time who were crucified for trying to lead revolts against the
He said Jesus was a troublemaker and that he deserved his punishment, basically, right? Just wait.
because we're Americans and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it.
Confused? Let me explain to you. He's going to be going to college campuses in the name of Turning Point. That sounds okay to you? Really? The Bible says in 1 John 22 that any single person who does not claim that Jesus is the Christ that came from the Father, that they are anti-Christ. I'm gonna hold my tongue right here, but I don't believe they have a choice.
Man, we got Big Trouble in Little China, all kind of stuff going on over there. And some of y'all will understand what I mean when I say this. These aliens are looking for two girls with green eyes. So if you got green eyes and you got a friend that's got green eyes, oh, y'all get them abducted. Yeah. Can't no plywood help you because they don't really have real good plywood in China.
It was to break a person's mind, to create splits, multiple personalities that could be controlled. And my stepfather was in counterintelligence in the Army. We know he was trained in that. I would never say that I was a subject of it by government funding, but what we do know is what he did to me was textbook of what they would do to people. The first memory I have was being tied to a bed. I was about 3.5, and he came in and he had a cat, and he said, I want you to the head off this cat. I had been tied to the bed all day, and he says, if you don't the head off this cat, I'll cut your head off. And I think that's the first time my brain split. The pressure and the fear of the trauma.
Now, the proper word for this is highly censored on here, so let's just call it MK Vulture. I have no idea why it's censored because you can literally Google and find CIA declassified documents on it. However, CIA claimed in 1973 that a lot of documents on these experiments were destroyed. Now, I wonder what type of experiments they were. And if that was over 50 years ago, how much further have they delved into human psyche?
That is correct. If they did that 50 years ago, can you imagine what they're doing now? And you gotta believe they're doing it now. They're just probably taking people and doing it. I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get a strike or anything on here, but you know what I mean. Can you only imagine what's going on now under the radar?
The song was so big, and then they told me I had to like kind of sacrifice something. They said, you're going to have to pay it back because you just put this information out there. This is gonna put people in the wrong mindset of what we're trying to do in society. So they told me that if I don't do these lists of things, then they're going to hurt my family or hurt, people that I really care about. And they told me to go to this office. It was on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. And then when I went, I asked them over the phone, what are they going to have me do? They said they couldn't tell me. And then when I went into the office, they sat me down and it was like an all white room, and they opened one of the doors and they had a Gucci suit. A Gucci bodysuit. And I said, oh no, please don't tell me that is what I think it is. They said, yeah, it's exactly what you think it is, pal. And I said, no, please no, not the Gucci suit. They said it's the Gucci suit. This is the only way that you can repay for what you've done. And I said, not the Gucci suit, please. And they said, it's the Gucci suit.
You know what's crazy? How all these videos are coming out now about aliens, evil things, demon things, what they make you do in the music industry. I've never seen a flood of videos like I have in the last couple years. You always saw little things here and there, but the last couple years, there's been videos back to back to back. And you gotta ask yourself, why?
What's really buried in the permafrost tunnel? Deep in Alaska, hidden beneath layers of ice and time, lies a mysterious tunnel. The government says it's for scientific research, a way to study ancient ice. But is that really all? Well, you see, The permafrost tunnel is an underground facility controlled by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Officially, it's used to study climate change and ancient microorganisms. But here's where it gets strange. Scientists working inside have reported discovering things that shouldn't be there. Preserved animals never seen before, unusual fossils, and even whispers of structures hidden deep within the ice. And then there's the real mystery. Why does the military have such a vested interest in what's beneath the ice? Just what are they doing in the tunnels? Could they have found something ancient, something dangerous? Because if the permafrost tunnel isn't just research,
If you're enjoying this video, I put several videos out a week. It'll be amazing if you hit the subscribe button and join me in the next video.
The United States of America. We have some Gen Zs too.
If you only had one burger bun left, would you use the one bun together, or would you mix and match it with the bread? I mix and match it because I don't know why. I think I did on accident, really, and I just noticed it. But
You know, we have to figure out new ways to explore the world. And this guy's getting ready to fight. He's fighting the air. Whoa. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
The boomers are also involved.
I want you to produce me some produce. I want you to produce me some produce.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've got the black box. Let the president know. What year is it now? What?
That looks like the other video I showed that one time.
I know, but he's trying
Who are you?
I don't know. Who am I?
Cyborg, what?
Whoa. This is what's going on in the United States.
Capote, use your clap attack on that ratted cheeks. I'll clap them in front of you. You better.
Yeah, that's Gen Z in action.
Relax, guess I need my freaky flute.
Now this right here, it's 1000% on point. I don't think anybody could actually argue with this one. Check it out.
I know many of you aren't ready for this, but if I put a gun on the table, it's not going to kill somebody. And if I put a knife on the table, it's not going to kill somebody. If I put crack cocaine on the table, it's not going to snort itself. And if a drunk individual chooses to get behind the wheel and kill somebody, the car doesn't go to jail, the human being does. So when did we decide as a society that no one is ever going to be held accountable for their actions? The gun didn't pull the trigger itself. A sick-minded individual behind it did so. And a human being made those choices. The gun didn't. The knife didn't grow legs to stab somebody on the train either, so.
Do you guys know that Israel has a plan in place just in case people attack them? Yes, it's called the Samson option. It's kind of like when you're playing hide and seek and then your friend gets found and then he's like, you're hiding and you're hiding good. And he's like, oh, they got us. They got us. Come on, they got us, yo, they got us. It's kind of like that. They can go and get everybody else, but then when somebody gets them, the Samson option is to literally set off a nuke, like world-destroying nukes, multiple nukes, unalive everybody. Yes, that's their plan, is that if they go down, they are taking everybody with them, which is very interesting because that sounds like a special someone from the Bible. I don't know. He just wants to take people with him because he knows his demise already. He knows where he's going. He wants to take everybody with him. I can't think of his name right now. But yes, that's the option. Maybe that's why a lot of people are not responding to the atrocities that Israel is doing, because they know that Israel will not play games and that they'll actually follow through with their word because they have time and time again. So this is very interesting to me, is that it seems like people are scared of Israel. And I wonder if they're scared because of the God aspect or if they're scared because of the Samson option. Samson option is very, very, very scary and very selfish. But with all the things that's been going on with Israel, I am not surprised.
Were y'all aware there's been raids going off in Poland ever since Russia invaded NATO's airspace there? And also, randomly, completely unrelated, right after all that stuff happened, there was another giant earthquake in Russia? Let's come right back to that part because it gets a lot weirder. So both in Russian and Poland on the border, they are both getting ready. Ballistic missile on the Russia side and also on the Poland side. Extremely weird. It seems like they're both getting ready for something. Like maybe they both see something coming at the same time, because why else would you put all your resources there? And the leader of the US also made this comment on Truth Social. And I'm gonna show you guys what's going on here in my next video because most people have no clue. But let me use it as a backdrop to tell you guys how weird it is that right after that stuff happened in NATO airspace, all of a sudden there's a massive earthquake. Tsunami warnings, there is some stuff on the coast. We definitely know it's completely 1000% unrelated. And also completely unrelated 1000% just to bring back to your memory. It's just crazy because last time something happened like this, there was also a giant earthquake that killed a whole bunch of whales, a whole bunch of animals, sent grid line streaks all the way from Alaska to Russia. Not all the way, but look into Alaska. And all those animals just acting extremely, extremely weird. And then just also extremely weird how Russia was putting out doomsday signals, cryptic messages, and then the NATO airspace stuff happens, and then another earthquake comes. And also, without missing a beat, exactly like last time. The last earthquake, crazy with the Schumann frequency. This earthquake, wow. What are the odds? But guess what?
Here's a crazy theory, but what if it's the aliens doing all this? What if it's the aliens that infiltrated the governments? The aliens that are causing earthquakes and all these weird weather anomalies? We don't have nothing to gain, but they do, right? They want us to wipe ourselves out. They could just break out in their UFOs and then come back and reclaim the earth for them. That's just a theory. Let me know what you think.
Here are some things I just learned today. There are multiple islands in Canada that are larger than the entirety of Great Britain. The studio that made the 2018 Spider-Man video game agreed to put in an Easter egg marriage proposal from a fan that requested it, but the couple broke up before the game was ever even released. There's a Dutch supermarket that introduced slow checkouts for people who enjoy talking and helping many people, especially elderly, feel less lonely. And they found it to be so successful that they installed the slow checkouts in over 200 of their stores. Newborn babies can't taste salt until 6 months old. Less than 1% of the world's population will ever run a marathon in their entire lifetime. Apparently, somewhat before he passed away, Ozzy Osbourne added to his will that he wanted Sharon to receive a dozen roses delivered to her every week until she dies. Also, Ozzy Osbourne stopped taking acid, apparently after conversing with a horse for over an hour.
So y'all really thought Cardi was out here playing with y'all, right? Because when I showed y'all she was in New York on the corner selling her CDs, y'all went crazy. Oh, she's just doing it for publicity stunt. So why is she on a train right now still trying to sell her CDs? And look at what her caption says. It says 7 more days until I find out that I lose my home. So she's literally out here hustling, trying to sell her CDs to any and everybody because the age of trash music is over. We don't want to listen to this stuff anymore, y'all.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I'm out here trying to sell these CDs. I'm trying to change my life around. I used to be a professional ballerina, but trying to make a better example for my kids. If you could please buy my new album and my new album and my new album now.
And I guess this works now because I guess the label is not pushing out her music anymore. So she's taking it to the streets and people are really buying it because people know Cardi. And what's ironic is that Cardi said that she does not let her children listen to her music, but why is she on a train and on the corner selling her CDs to people like us? And you can tell she does not want to be out here doing this either.
I can't. Get me out of here.
See, she does not want to be here doing this. She doesn't want to be up in the subways with a rat selling her CDs for $9.99. You flip that, you get 666. So could this possibly be a humiliation ritual? Possibly. You guys know how the music industry is, but nonetheless, she's not going home until she sells those CDs. But the shift is here and everybody is feeling the squeeze. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Nah, I don't believe that. I think this is a publicity stunt. She's just generating more attention on social media so she could get more sales. That's what I believe.
In 2018, Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed to the Supreme Court in a 50-48 Senate vote, despite credible allegations of sexual misconduct from multiple women dating back to high school and college. Ethics complaints followed, But they too were dismissed once he took the bench, placing political expediency above justice. That's who sits on your Supreme Court. Even after confirmation, Kavanaugh was criticized for addressing the Federalist Society, a partisan conservative legal group, which raised concerns under the Canon 2 about judges staying above politics. He once lobbied for a judge who later handled those very ethics complaints against him, blurring the lines between judicial integrity and personal politics. Kavanaugh is part of the conservative bloc that increasingly relies on the shadow docket, rulings issued without full hearings or detailed reasoning. This method, especially in immigration cases, has sparked backlash from lower courts and legal scholars for eroding clarity and consistency in law. Kavanaugh's tenure shows how power can corrode justice. If the court's legitimacy is its foundation, each step away from transparency and ethics chips away at that foundation. His rulings prove that the Supreme Court is done protecting the Constitution. Now all that matters is political loyalty, which goes against the very principle as to why the Supreme Court was created. So the people that love to point out that we're a constitutional republic, not a democracy, well, thanks to the Supreme Court lineup, we're neither.
Time to leave.
Dude, what the fuck?
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Four. Wake up, wake up.
Don't whisper it. Come forward. Show yourself. Stop being a coward.
Hey y'all, did y'all catch this? So Bali just got hit with some unexplainable torrential downpour for 48 hours, y'all. But here's the thing, this is Bali's dry season. So the weather is moving like it's got a mind of its own, and that has been the theme as of late, as right y'all? Remember they told us that they cannot predict the weather anymore, so the weather is moving like it's got a mind of its own because the earth is coming back alive, y'all. She is reclaiming back her earth. The water was moving so fast and so heavy, it caused a lot of buildings to break under pressure, and people were in the buildings, so they got swept away under the rain, and unfortunately there were some deaths in this. They don't know how many yet, but they're saying 6 or more. Look at this, y'all. Y'all see how strong the water is? Densapar is actually a tourist hotspot, so there was a lot of Americans over there visiting, and because of this, they couldn't make their way home. And then to the ones that couldn't leave, this is what happened to their villa. You see, their suitcases was packed for them to go, but it's not happening. Man, it's like Americans can't get a break right now, y'all. There's a lot happening in America, and then they're getting it in other countries too. That's crazy. Yeah, these are their tours, they're the tourist villas. This is crazy. The earth is moving, they're shifting. There's a great cleansing, there's a great purge that's happening, y'all. Y'all see it, y'all feel it. The water is talking, it's moving. Look at that, y'all. Up to their shoulders, basically. Y'all seen that flash? He sounds scared. The term coined climate change is man's excuse for Mother Earth waking back up and taking back the planet and showing y'all who's really boss. That's why they can't predict what's happening with this weather. Because you're telling me dry season turned flood? Not just any flood, but 48 hours straight, y'all? Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace.
Now, as many of you may know, Charlie Kirk, a very popular political commentator, was a few days back. Police suspect the man who did it was a dude named Tyler Robinson, and they suspect this because the evidence against Tyler is pretty damn. But first things first, Charlie Kirk, when I say popular political commentator, I mean very popular. A lot of people consider him one of the reasons Donald Trump got elected. But to get to the top of the political commentary space, most of the time you have to be very divisive, which Charlie Kirk was. Now, I'm not going to get into the reasons of why Charlie Kirk was divisive or the things he said, because there's better videos that do that. But let's just say he people off. One of those people being Tyler Robinson. How do I know that? Well, he said it himself. He said, yeah, Charlie Kirk off. He said this to a family member. He also mentioned the fact that he knew where Charlie Kirk was going to be the day he got the University of Utah, where Charlie Kirk was indeed by a rifle. Now that's important because if you have a rifle, that means you're probably not super up close to somebody. You're probably really far. So police look through surveillance footage and they see video of a man on a roof. Now I know what you're thinking. I can't tell if that's even a man or not. And you're right. So police said switch the camera up. They got another angle. A man running on a roof, but where's he going though? Switch the angle. Hops off the roof, running towards the far side of campus. Switch the angle. And there she blows. The man from the video gets close enough to a camera to where they see his face. And well, the man looks like who they know to be Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson's family member said, is that Tyler Robinson? They go to Tyler Robinson. He says, well, in their words, he basically alluded to the fact that he did it. So the family calls a friend. The friend comes over. They all bring him to the station. Police look at Tyler. They look at the picture. They say, all right, put your hands behind your back. Give us your phone. Let's see what you was texting. According to police, on Tyler's phone, he was texting a roommate saying, yo, I hid the rifle in a forest. Go pick it up for me. They found a rifle in the forest. They also found a Discord message of him looking for a rifle. It's just not a good look. Now, as for why Tyler did it, not much is known, but it's suspected to be political because on one of Tyler's bullet casings, it read, hey fascists, exclamation mark, catch this, exclamation mark, which is a wild thing to write on a bullet. Now, Tyler also seemed very into meme culture because his other bullets read some wild things, one of them being, if you're reading this, you're gay, LMAO. Another read, notices bulge, ooh, what's this? Another read, Bella Chow. Who's Bella Chow? Somebody clear up who Bella Chow is for me. But he's writing this on bullets. Now, all that being said, I think one of the worst parts of this whole fiasco is the press conference afterwards, where the police and the FBI pull up and they just start flexing. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, shout out Charlie Kirk. But anyway, we went crazy on this investigation. Like, we did a really good job. They're saying how great the federal and the state governments are connected. They're shouting out Donald Trump. They're making it very political. When this whole thing started for that very same reason, it's like perpetuating the cycle.
Did anyone else see that recent post from, it was this like blonde chick that lives in Florida, and she just announced recently on TikTok that she was there. She was one of the people that was in Miami at the Miami Mall incident with all of those dark figures that people were saying they were being chased by, and all the police that came out, and there was like this whole mass thing that blew up all over social media and people were asking about it. And then on top of it, none of the people that were there, because the police said that it was a fight, and then said, oh, and people were lighting off fireworks, so we thought that it might be a, you know, the T word, and so that's why there were so many police. But not one person came out with a video of the fight, which I don't know if you know which era we live in right now, but that is impossible. A whole mall of people, massive fight breaks out, fireworks are going off, and not one person got it.
That is true. Nowadays, you see people in fights or people in trouble, and the people around them, they not helping. They whipping out their phones and recording. So there should have been multiple videos if there was somebody fighting in that mall.
Alaska is collapsing under its own ground. From the rainforest coast to the Arctic tundra, the state is being torn apart by landslides. More than 1,000 slow and sudden slope failures since 2012. Entire families have been wiped out, highways cut off for days, oil pipelines threatened, and even national parks crippled. The scale is staggering. In southeast Alaska, torrential rain unleashes shallow slides that roar down mountainsides. Since 2015, at least 12 people have died, including a family of 5 in Wrangell. Extreme rainfall, supercharged by atmospheric rivers, is turning whole towns into targets. In the interior, thawing permafrost has shut down Denali's main road at Pretty Rocks, forcing a $150 million bridge project that won't be finished until 2027. North of there, frozen debris lobes, massive rivers of ice, rock, and soil, are crawling downhill toward the Dalton Highway and the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. More than 200 have been identified, 99 of them already menacing the only land route to Prudhoe Bay. And in the Brooks Range and beyond, retrogressive thaw slumps are swallowing valleys, dumping tens of thousands of cubic meters of mud and rock into rivers. Some creeks are choking under the weight of collapsing ground. Scientists say the problem is too big for any one agency, yet federal funding is uncertain. The National Landslide Preparedness Act expired in 2024 and proposed budget/USGS hazard programs by a quarter. Without money, monitoring will fall back on citizen reports and aging satellite images, leaving people exposed. Alaska's mountains are moving faster than the government can respond. With rainstorms intensifying, permafrost thaw accelerating, and monitoring budgets in jeopardy, the threat is only growing. Landslides are no longer isolated disasters. They are becoming a permanent hazard stretching from Wrangell to the Arctic.
The Eye Atlas is getting even weirder. It has changed from having a red orangey glow to now a green glow, and it happened over the blood moon period. Also, Avi Loeb suggests that maybe it's sending little probes already at Earth. Listen to this.
The Eye Atlas is changing again. Just weeks from its closest pass to the sun, astronomers in Namibia recorded the interstellar visitor shifting from a reddish glow to a bright green coma during the lunar eclipse. Instruments confirm the change is tied to a surge in cyanide production, now measured at nearly 20 grams per second, along with an unusual release of nickel but no iron. Activity, ice and dust breaking apart as it heats. But Harvard's Avi Loeb argues the data is anything but typical. He notes the nickel signature matches a process used in industrial refining and warns we should not dismiss the possibility of a technological origin. Loeb has gone further, suggesting that 3-Eye Atlas could deploy smaller probes as it swings through the solar system. Some of those, he says, could even reach Earth and appear as unidentified aerial phenomena. With its sheer size, strange trajectory, and chemical profile that defies expectations, Loeb is pressing NASA to aim spacecraft at the object while the chance remains. The interstellar visitor will reach perihelion in October, inside the orbit of Mars, before heading back out through the solar system. Whether it is simply a rare comet or something more, its behavior is unlike anything we have tracked before. And for now, all eyes remain on 3-Eye Atlas.
I mean, that is really weird. So it's changed colour from an orangey glow to a green glow. And also, Avi Loeb suggested it could be sending probes, little tiny UFOs that are coming and investigating Earth. What? I don't know where he's got that idea from. I'm not sure. I think someone's made that up.
When you decide to pee in freezing temperatures. Can this happen? Your pee temperature is 37 degrees Celsius body temperature, so for it to freeze in midair, it would have to cool a whole 40 degrees nearly instantly. That kind of transfer of heat actually is possible on Earth in just 2 places. On Antarctica and also in Siberia, where the winter lows are at negative 40 degrees Celsius.
Why would that dude pee outside and risk his private to that cold air? What's up with people nowadays?
That you should be afraid. If you look up in the sky and see this, I want you to run. Because see, this is one of the YNs that got advanced technology. Yep. And he pulled it up on his ops and ain't nothing they could do about it. They talking about switches. No, he got something worse than a switch. If you see this, I want you to run.
Now this is where things actually caught me. Notice how his cat immediately snaps him back to look at what was in that direction.
No way. ¡Ah, conchetumare! ¡Deja de wearme, conchetumare!
awkward. Hey, no.
Now, things like these continue to happen over and over again. His TikTok followers were starting to get overwhelmingly concerned with the previous video he had shared, especially after the one where he had bite marks on his shoulders. So he decided to set nighttime cameras to record what happens at night. The results were shocking.
You know how we predicted like mans are gonna start getting the mark of the beast? Oh. Yeah.
Today I'm gonna get a microchip and plant it in my hand.
But it was some Asian guy, right? And this is his thought process. Whenever he gets like Uber Eats from his apartment, you know we have the fob key? Yeah. Sometimes I forget it, right? So I'm gonna put the microchip in my phone, right? So now he's like, oh, sometimes I do leave my phone. What is actually always on myself? So he's like, yes, and there's a video them planting the needle in it, and he goes into his elevator, goes like this.
Programming is done now. Let's go try it out. So now I should be able to tap my hand and select my phone.
It's not that serious. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. You could wear a necklace. Yeah. So much. You can wear a ring.
I don't know, but I'm not implanting no microchip, nothing like that, no barcode, none of that in my body. I want my body natural. Unless it's like life or death stuff and I have to do it to live. But if it was by choice, I'm not doing it.
I got some glitches in the Matrix, Booshkies. Like this. Why is it rated there, but not here? It's rated like 10 feet away, but it's not rated here. How can it raid there and not here? Here's a bird sitting on another bird that's flying, except that bird's not flying, it's floating. So we got a floating bird and another bird sitting on it. Here's a helicopter floating in the sky. The props aren't moving, it's just floating. It's just floating. Glitch in the Matrix. A couple goes camping and they hear some noises at night. So they take this picture. Do you see anything up there? Let me highlight it for you. Look at that. That looks like two red eyes staring right at me. Now, I'd have freaked out if I was out there and saw that thing. And all I could see was two red eyes, but they saw it even closer. So let me show you the closer version. What the heck is that? What is that thing? Even looking at it closer, I can't tell, except it's freaky.
Camera.
So someone commented in one of my videos, like the bronzer highlighter I use, and I use the Milani 05 Soleil. So I'm gonna try that on. And no.
Tengo esta tacita rosita y esta tacita como sí. Huevo y
What am I hearing on my radio? This keeping me the nigga. What the fuck, nigga? I'm cutting this, bro.
The following footage was captured by a man named Danny as he attempted to document the terrifying haunting in his home.
I don't know. That video seems suspect to me, right? Like, what was that? AI generated? That didn't look real to me. Did it to y'all?
People point to The Simpsons like it's a magic cartoon. 9/11, smartwatches, Trump as president, even showed it all years before it happened. But how? How does a TV show keep getting it right? Here's the thought. Maybe they're not predicting. Maybe they're showing us the plan. That's what some call predictive programming. Put an idea into people's heads early, hide it as a joke, and when it happens for real, nobody fights it. They just say, oh yeah, I saw that on The Simpsons. The writers? Just employees. The real script comes from the elites, the people shaping culture. They hide their blueprints in plain sight because the best way to cover up a plan is to laugh at it. Comedy becomes a mask. So maybe The Simpsons isn't guessing the future at all. Maybe it's preparing us for it. Every prediction is really just tomorrow's script slipped into your brain while you're laughing. So ask yourself, are we laughing at coincidences or are we being trained to accept a future that's already written?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Trump just came out, I think it was yesterday, and said this is a new type of war. And Ukraine is drone warfare. How does drone warfare target human targets?
About a year ago, I was trying to tell people around me, and I was posting about it. I was targeted by drones. Nobody believed me, no matter how much proof I had. But I'm glad that Sabrina Wallace's stuff is finally being put out into the open because we need to talk about this. When I first started posting my faith journey, I started noticing that I was being targeted and electrically shocked by drones. I even have it on footage, and I have some tools in my back pocket that I believe work. So then I start gaslighting myself. I'm like, no, it's gotta be an airplane. There's no way. So then it's like, all right, bet, you wanna see it? And it comes down to I don't know, 15 feet up. And then disappear up into the clouds. In case you missed it, every time this red light blinks, it makes a noise on my phone, which I couldn't audibly hear, so that's great. For a couple months when this first started, as I would walk my dog, street lights would turn out as I went under them. And I noticed when I started wearing my copper jewelry, which I have not given up, I'm still obsessed with copper. A lot of people ask me that. I just talk about it less. My copper stuff sometimes shocks me, not as much anymore, but how copper jewelry works is if some outside electricity or something is hitting your body, it pulls all the excess out through the copper. So it has a little bit of a static shock type of effect. I've also noticed, and it is patented, some of these shapeshift into planes. The patent says that it's shapeshifting. I personally think it's more of a hologram because I have seen multiple of them do that. So they look like they're just normal planes, but they're flying suspiciously low. But they're not, they're drones. I also noticed that they go into caves and mountains. I know that sounds crazy. I've talked about this before, but I used to live out in the country, and there was this mountain that was well known because a couple hundred years ago, there was Indians, I guess, that lived in it that were scalping people, and there was a big massacre. And I started noticing when I was driving by it, there would always be drones going into the mountain. The trail to go up to the mountain got closed off 2 years ago so that nobody can go up there. And apparently it's a top secret base of some kind. That's what I've heard. I can't verify that. And the one day I pulled over on the side of the road and I watched this mountain for an hour and a half, and like clockwork, one will go into the mountain, into the side. There must be a cave that's just open. And then a minute later, I don't know if it's the same one or if they're sending out a different one, out the other side. And it does laps. They must go in circles, they're patrolling or something. There was a certain point where it got so bad and I was so scared of them that I couldn't leave the house without somebody like coming to get me, because like clockwork, they would like pull up as soon as I walk out my door. I'd even see them, like if I was like driving slow down a back road, one would pop up out of nowhere. I even took a video where one was fully chasing me down the street. Like I turned a corner and everything, and this thing was super low and following me. I no longer have this problem. I think that they are somehow like maybe they have interdimensional elements, or maybe they just are interdimensional. I'm really not sure. But I can tell you with absolute certainty that these things can sense fear, because when I would be afraid of them, they would come closer. So number one, I'm not afraid of them anymore. I pray, I put my faith in Jesus. I ask for his hedge of protection. That is the biggest thing. As far as physical things, wearing copper, doing a parasite and a heavy metal cleanse is a big one. And honestly, ignoring them. Don't be afraid of them, but also just ignore them. Because if you fixate on them, it's like they have to be demonic. I'm telling you guys, even if they are technically like technology, they have to be demonic, because when you fixate on them, it's like they notice you. It's like the story about how the soldiers in Vietnam, when they put on the I don't know how to say the word, the dye glasses, where like they were able to see like demons in the trees. As soon as they noticed the demon would come at them. That is exactly what I have experienced with these things. So literally ignore them if you come into contact with them, and stay under the covering of Jesus Christ. If you do not know him, right now is the time to start getting to know him, because we are entering some weird times.
These videos are for entertainment and education. Real or fake, fact or fiction. Let me know what you think about these videos down in the comments section. I'd like to thank you for watching. Until next time, this is CYPTV and I'm out.